Alabama, Notre Dame, Clemson, Ohio State, A&M, Oklahoma, Florida, Cincinnati on the outside looking in. College Football Playoff Committee can explain their choices all day long, but we know that this isn't an exact science. We've talked about it. After Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, and Notre Dame, the Irish have a similar resume to Texas A&M. And we know the committee likes certain teams in the big conferences. 2-loss Oklahoma jumped up to number 6 ahead of undefeated Cincinnati. And they offer up their reasons, but they don't always stand up. Ohio State played 6 games, the eye test, but they're a blue blood, and you want them in there. Great fan base. They got some players who are going to play on Sunday next year. They didn't want Alabama versus A&M. And I think that A&M fans need to realize that. If they were getting in, the committee, I know that I've said it and I sound like I'm crazy when I say it, but so much goes into this is a TV show. You don't want blowouts. They hope they don't get them. It doesn't mean that they won't get them. And you might get that with Notre Dame and Alabama. Remember, computers used to do this. The computers were not thinking that this was a TV show. When the BCS was deciding 1 versus 2, that was the computer got all the information. The human touch was not involved in it other than feeding the information into a computer. Now you have humans who are looking at this going, do we want A&M versus Alabama again? People would rather tune in to Notre Dame getting blown out by Alabama than A&M getting blown out by Alabama. If that happened, I think we could all predict what was going to happen. There was nothing. We didn't get any chaos in college football. You know, Florida went toe-to-toe with Alabama. I would love to see Florida and Alabama play again, believe it or not. If it comes down to Notre Dame versus Clemson, I would have liked to have seen that again. But these are the Final Four. We'll make the best of it, and hopefully we get some good games. I mean, that's really all you can ask for. I feel like the system's flawed only because it's rigged that these other schools actually think they have a chance, and they don't. And that's where they need to find a way to go either acknowledge them, let them in, expand the playoffs, or just basically say, we're just letting the power conferences in. That's it. But I think you're going to see expansion, and I think the momentum that has been building here, not only this year, but maybe last year, and they'll expand to 8 teams. I was talking to my college football source over the weekend, and he said it's inevitable. The question is, the Power 5 conferences, ESPN, you have a contract here. Do you open it up? Do you wait until 2023 or 2024 and then go, now we're going to expand the playoffs? I don't think they can wait that long. I think you have an opportunity and you're able to expand the playoffs. And yes, you're going to get blowouts. But you got a blowout against Notre Dame and Clemson. It's going to happen. There are 2 great programs in America, Alabama and Clemson. Whoever plays them, they're ripe to be blown out. A&M is the 6th team in the country. They got blown out. Clemson, number 2, or Notre Dame, number 2, getting blown out by Clemson. It happens. It's going to happen. Because there's a big disparity between those programs. Hopefully we get competitive games. That's all I ask for. I got to have my Heisman vote in by 5 o'clock today, and I struggled with it over the weekend. I watched the Alabama-Florida game from start to finish. I watched a lot of Clemson, certainly in the first half, trying to figure out where Trevor Lawrence fits in, Devontae Smith, the Alabama wide receiver, Mac Jones, the quarterback. I watched Ball State and Buffalo because I wanted to give some love to Jarrett Patterson, and they lost, and he didn't play well. Like, he was one of those, he's had an unbelievable year. 1,000 yards in 5 games, and he looks like he could be like a Darren Sproles type in the NFL, but a whole lot of fun. But Buffalo lost to Ball State. You know, you're looking for those players from schools that may not get a whole lot of recognition. And I always like to do that with the third person on my ballot. But and I can't tell you who I'm voting for. I've been asked not to. Those of us who are voting, the Heisman Trust said, don't tell people who you're voting for, I guess, prior to the deadline. So I will certainly acknowledge that. And, I take it very seriously. And it's an honor to be able to do it.